We finally got some details on Black Ops 7 Zombies, and I've got to be real, this reveal right now has me both excited and worried at the same time. There's a lot of good here, like survival maps coming back and cutscenes returning, but there's also bad, like BO6 mechanics carrying over potentially, and some questionable design choices. But today I'm going to break down everything we know so far, the good, the bad, and dive a little deeper into the brand new Transit-like remake. Let's get into it. So first off, one of the W's we have right away, which was something I was actually complaining about in my last video I made, was a huge artistic upgrade from what we see so far at least. This map that they've showed off so far has obviously that dark ether kind of feel to it, the purple, light dark purples, all that good shit, and it looks really good. I won't lie, it looks really good, and it's one of the highlights I had in Black Ops 6 was the dark ether in the tomb, that one area you go to besides the skybox. Obviously it looks kind of bad. That is one of my favorite things about the game. So if they are going to stay in the dark ether, hopefully that's a highlight, and hopefully they also are unique enough and isn't just purple everywhere all the time. Hopefully they can switch the color scheme up a little bit. It's not just purple every single map, because obviously that would get stale very quickly. But in my opinion, so far at least, that is a very good sign as far as the art direction is concerned. Now let's talk about this transit-like map, from what I'm seeing, it really looks like transit just with a couple places added on. Transit looks good in this engine, I won't lie. Like I said, the fog, the lighting, the way they rebuilt the layout so far from what we've seen looks interesting. It looks like that we spawn in the Reckoning spawn room. I'm not 100% sure of that, but you do kind of see that main area in one of the videos, and it looks like it is the spawn room. Either that or it's the very top floor of Tower 1. I guess we'll figure that out soon. And there's a bunch of mechanics that I'll get to later on, but if they're able to actually pull this off, then this might be one of the best maps ever made. But obviously I am reserved, because what we've gotten the last 5 to 6 years has been at best good, but it hasn't been able to get to the very top like Shadows of Evil or Origins or anything like that. But you never know, this may have potential. Another thing that I do really like that is coming back, which honestly we also deserve these in Black Ops 6, but obviously we didn't get this on all the maps, is cutscenes are coming back. Apparently for every single map, including DLC, there's going to have a cinematic intro again. Now, like I said, BO6, I believe, stopped having intro cutscenes at Citadel, and even Citadel's intro just felt really rushed. It looked good visually, but the story element just was not there for me. So hopefully they can improve on the cinematics and storytelling on these intros, and they're not just having Carver sitting in the corner not saying anything or something like that. Obviously, ever since these got introduced in Zombies, they just feel like something that, you know, is just part of the mode now. And if the cinematic cutscene is not there, it just feels empty to me. Like whenever you place these cutscenes at the beginning, it makes you feel more invested in the map's story and theme and everything like that. So hopefully they're able to kill this year, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. Another thing that is returning from Black Ops 2 are survival maps. Now, I am interested in the way they are bringing them back, and I'm going to explain this in just a minute. But essentially at launch, we are getting Transit along with Farm. Now, obviously, I think this is a good idea. You have the big map, Transit, for all the hardcore Easter egg hunters and the people that want to challenge or want more progression in the map in general. And then you have the farm map for people who just want to hop into the game and play and kill zombies for fun, obviously. Now, one thing I am interested in is that, from what I've heard, I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but apparently everything in that section will just be open already. Pack-a-Punch will already be there for you. There won't be any progression in the map, just as far as like opening doors or getting power on or things like that. So it's not necessarily that I think it's bad, but I am interested to see how it's going to affect the actual flow of the survival maps at launch. But overall, I do think this is a positive, and it could potentially mean a lot more maps in this game, you know, just as far as like total of how many play spaces you can, you know, go into individually. But we'll see. We'll see how well they do this, if they decide to do a lot, or if they're only going to release one survival map per DLC. I don't know. We'll see what they do, but it does have potential. Also, Dead Ops Arcade is confirmed. I saw the little clips that they posted online about it, and I am actually really interested what they're going to do with Dead Ops. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Dead Ops and how they are able to just kind of mix and match every game together with all the boss enemies and different mechanics from different games and stuff like that. So I am really excited about it. And I know this point I'm about to bring up could be just copium, but in BO1 and BO3 and Cold War, in almost every one of those games were bangers and they had Dead Ops in them. So you could make an argument for Cold War, obviously, because Cold War has the new modern systems. But for the most part, every time a Dead Ops has been in a game, it's been a banger. So hopefully that trend will continue here in Black Ops 7. And in the end, it's just a positive, just period, just because it's just extra content on top of everything else. And I'm glad they are bringing it back because it is nice to be able to switch to that whenever you're tired of playing the round-based mode. Now, as much as I want to hype this game up, there are definitely some red flags for me. And one of the things is apparently, obviously, there is some things that we don't really know detail-wise about this, but apparently, according to the YouTubers that went out to Treyarch, a lot of BO6 is carrying over the weapons, the gobblegums, the operators, all of it. And I get the gobblegum part. Like, I do think it's a great idea to let you use the gobblegums from Black Ops 6 and use them in Black Ops 7, obviously. That's awesome. But as far as the weapons and the operators, I'm not really sure about that. I mean, essentially it is a positive because it gives you more guns to play with. And if you paid for operators in the prior game, you can play with them as well. But I just don't want people to be able to break the immersion in the game. Like, I don't want to see Beavis and Butthead in zombies. I don't want to see Cold War weapons in a quote-unquote Black Ops 2 sequel with futuristic weapons. I just don't really like that, honestly. I just feel like it'll break the theming of the game. But hey, we'll see about that, obviously. We'll give it time and see how it all plays out. Another thing we haven't technically heard about yet, but from what I've seen, Mr. Raffle Waffles has kind of hinted at is apparently the gameplay systems are going to be pretty much the same and not changing much at all. Obviously, they haven't officially said this, but when Mr. Raffles asked the question about there being different mechanics in the game, essentially their answer was that wasn't the focus. It was about the experiences and the maps. But some other employee cut in saying there will be more changes, but they can't release that information till later. But just from what we know so far, I'm not a huge fan of that. I was really hoping that we were going to start with a classic pistol in this game instead of loadouts. And also armor plating is back apparently too, which I absolutely hate the armor plating. If they're going to have armor, like, as in the ones in, Vanguard, Cold War, MWZ, and Black Ops 6, I really wish they'd go back to the Cold War style at least, so that way you're not having to plate every damn time you get hit by a zombie. It's so annoying. Field upgrades, I'm assuming, are also going to be back, and crafting and augments are probably going to be coming back too, just because how they're theming this is how the Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 are kind of interlinked, and how they're trying to make it more about the experiences and not the actual gameplay changes themselves. So, like I said, we're not 100%, sure about this, but I really hope this, at least some of this, isn't true, because I really do hope they do make some gameplay changes as far as the systems are concerned. But we don't know. We'll see about it. We'll get later in September and they'll reveal some things, and I'll judge it for myself whenever they reveal it themselves. And speaking of the reveals, I just think it's just been so bad, the reveal itself. It was so limited, and the zombies creators, like the big zombies creators, couldn't really share much. Everything is locked behind an embargo until September, like I was saying, which just leaves the community, I feel like, probably frustrated and just speculating, because I feel like they just answer questions badly. Like when Mr. Raffles asks that question about the gameplay changes, it's just, they leave it so ambiguous, and they don't even say like a wink wink answer like, oh yeah, we've changed some things or something. I don't know. I just think it's frustrating, and I don't know. We'll like I said, we'll see what is really there once it actually comes out. I don't want to judge it too harsh too soon. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the actual quote-unquote transit map now. The map is similarly broken into points of interest like the original transit was, But the biggest difference that I am seeing right away is obviously the art design of the map. And then also, you're not going to be getting around on a bus. You're going to have this quote unquote wonder vehicle, which could potentially be really, really cool. But we'll see. And from what we have heard, apparently the Pack-a-Punch machine is tied to that wonder vehicle, which would actually be really smart. So that way, whenever you travel to a location, you could just have the Pack-a-Punch right next to you. So let's say you start in the, let's say bus depot is in there. You start there and then you go to the town later on and you happen to have the points that are on you, then you could just Pack-a-Punch right there. I think that's actually a really good idea. Now, they also teased a new redacted point of interest, but they had it censored during the event, which obviously I'm sure it'll be something tied to the Easter egg or something with the story itself, but we'll see what happens when they actually reveal it in September. Hopefully we'll get some more details about that. So my final thoughts on this is just for the positive: better visuals, way better atmosphere with art design and everything. We got survival maps coming back, Dead Ops Arcade 4, and cutscenes returning. So that is pretty solid just as far as improvements they are making in general. But they do need to keep doing this if they want Black Ops 7 Zombies to be a hit, in my opinion. Because we do still have that BO6 baggage, in my opinion, where apparently these systems are going to be the same, and you got the old weapons coming back, which I don't really like, and the old operators coming back, which I don't like either. And like I said, the gameplay systems in Black Ops 6 aren't awful, but I do think they need to make some changes to that to actually make it feel just outstanding. Like I said, it's not bad. There is some good in the modern systems, but they do need to tweak it a lot. And I'm hoping they announce something whenever the actual reveal comes. In the end, BO7 might end up being to BO6 what MW3 was to MW2. Same engine, same mechanics, but more polished and more content and more fun in general. If Treyarch can deliver on the atmosphere and replayability, I do think overall this will be a pretty good improvement for Zombies, but we're gonna have to wait and see until September to really know for sure. But as far as the initial reveal, that is everything we know right now about Black Ops 7 Zombies. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments below. Are you more hyped or more worried after this reveal? And if you enjoyed the breakdown, just drop a like, subscribe for more Zombies content. I'm gonna be killing it as far as Zombies content is concerned, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.